had the unhappy experience of being on Twitter when Omar tweeted images of Israeli police storming a Palestinian mosque and kicking people in Ramadan, simultaneously with a YouTube nutter who was prosecuting the idea that Bush was behind the shooting of Reagan to help solidify relations between Israelis and Yoko Ono in their claim that John Lennon and Ronald Reagan were as one in the dastardly deeds. What it amounts to is research being used as mythology enforcement because all of the evidence is clear. Gwen or Yoko Ono worked with Clarence Thomas and Obama, poisoning me, threatening me with HIV, saying the only alternative in the spirit world would be a nuclear reprisal towards the United States targeting me. And the spiritual foundation came from a miscreant and evil consultant to Putin named Tony Levin. And it's gone on and on for a long time. Now, what happened is the Israelis poisoned me with a nerve agent, tortured me, and the letters were sent to me from Israel. These are all Ono's favorites. She loves them so much that she went along with John Schulman's museum heist and Leslie Katz's claim that her virginity proved rape, which wasn't even made by her. It was made in her name by Tony Levin and Robert Fripp. So what they're doing is angling all of these deviant and evil crimes, murdering Cersei Kennedy, murdering two more Kennedys when I wrote back to Courtney, blowing up the USSR when 911 with suspicious people from immunogenetics predating back in the 70s, the AIDS attack, with their ghoulish decision to release anthrax. In the name of her favorites, these Israelis who are kicking people at the mosque in Palestine with the help of Bob Dylan, to sell the idea that the greater good is served by recognizing the divine intellect of a synthesis of holiness between Reagan and John Lennon, which we'll call Casper the Friendly Ghost, because that's what they call it. And he's the divine orderly of Yasukuni Shrine welcoming Mishima's old friend Adolf Hitler into the fold of the forgiven. But the unforgiven is the white suck who has been tortured and whom will be balanced with brain cancer through poison in the mouth of the holy Bob Marley slay by the CIA and so on and so forth. I mean, you get the idea. These people on glue playing mind association games, talking about what they actually do, which is pick off innocent people from both sides like a pendulum for kicks, you know, to balance the hemispheres while claiming it's a sociological production from hair, which it's grossly accurate on the level of primary perpetrator identification, but horrifically imbecilic if you actually believe the soothsay that the evidence doesn't implicate the people who are leaders, supposedly the victims, because that's what it is. That's why you can't look at the evidence without coming to the conclusion that Lennon and Reagan worked together and faked the assassination and the shooting. Lennon ducked out altogether because he knew that there was going to be a bill coming in about all of the drug stuff of the 60s. Now, he didn't want to be around to have to deal with AIDS directly, so he left the soundtrack. That's what really happened. You know, that, and she subverts reality, the Squeener Yoko Ono woman, by saying that the white from the San Jacinto, the child who was battered and tortured by the Israelis and their war machine in Pittsburgh with an implant as a child, is anonymously to blame because I didn't know what was going on. Not the people who did it. Because I didn't know what was going on, I am anonymously to blame. And the imbeciles around Washington sit there and meet with Clarence Thomas after he did this voodoo of nuclear threat against the United States. I mean, it's really strange that it should be going on, but what tells you is that the acid heads of the 60s were thoroughly up to something and in every way absolutely thorough in their production plants. I mean, the competence is rather odd given how incompetent everything else they do is.